Let's rank the most electrifying conferences in college wrestling. So this is something that I see going around with these tier rankings. And I'll be honest, I don't love those in some regards, just because like when you tier rank a weight class or something like that, I just don't like to put guys down, in my opinion. I just don't. Like, I'm okay with saying like a Spencer Lee is a top tier guy or Gable Stevenson based on those stats, but like I see other shows, other programs kind of tier rank guys. I don't like doing that. But conferences, I'm more okay with doing that. I think it's fun to say like this has been a super fun conference to watch this year. This conference, maybe not so much. So what am I talking about? What am I talking about here? So these are some of the conferences that we're going to be ranking, and we're ranking them on S, A, B, C, or F. And S is superior. This is essentially the best conference to watch this year. A is a great conference. B is a good conference to watch. C is an average. I enjoyed watching them, but haven't done a crazy amount for me. And then F is just bad. So let's get F out of the way right now. There's nobody at F. Like I just said, I'm not going to be throwing people under the bus, putting people down. That's not what I do. I like to look at things from a positive perspective, and there has been good from every single conference this year, in my opinion. So that's why there's nobody at F. But it's C at the average, and even that, like, average to watch, not average competition, like not average wrestlers. That's not what that means. Don't take that out of context. Just, I've enjoyed watching it, but there have been some mishaps. So, first of all, in the MAC, okay, Mizzou has been the dominant force, and they have been exciting to watch. And if you're a Mizzou fan, which there are a lot of Mizzou fans, then you're going to say, okay, well, I'm going to put them at S or A. Okay, but looking overall at the rest, there hasn't been a lot of great competition for them outside of that, and just hasn't really given a lot of great matches or duels. Like, Mizzou has wins over Central Michigan, Iowa State, Northern Iowa, Arizona State, which have all been fun to watch, but outside of that, it's okay. The EIWA is similar. Navy and Army gave a good duel. It was fun to watch Navy grow this year with a new head coach. But the unfortunate part about the EIWA, which is why it's not as fun for me this year, is there are no Ivy Leagues. There's no Cornell. There's no Yanni or Vito or Max Dean or Ben Darmstadt to watch this year, and that's kind of unfortunate to me. And so that's why I kind of have it a little bit lower as the EIWA on my excitement, electrifying to watch. The Pac-12, Arizona State has been fun to watch. They're another team that I put in that kind of C ranking. So Arizona State's been fun to watch with the Pac-12, beating or wrestling Oklahoma, Iowa State, Northern Iowa, rescheduling some of those. I think that's something that goes into the positives. But and even Stanford, it's been fun to watch guys like Bass with Griffith, but unfortunately, no real Woods. And with Stanford dropping their program after this season, it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and so I have them at that C as well. Now, the really good, the good conferences that have been just exciting for me, they're maybe not at that top echelon of thrills and excitement every single duel, but I still got a lot from that. And the first one is actually in the Socon. So the Socon has had a lot of exciting duels this year between their top three teams, between Campbell, Chattanooga, and App State. And you may be saying, well, not all those teams are ranked, and so it's not as fun, and maybe I get your sentiment there, but like Campbell's actually a top 25 team now. Arguably, App State, I believe they were close to being a top 25 team at one point, but each of these duels has come down to like the last match. And when a duel comes down to the last match, to me, that makes it super fun to watch. When it's not, bullets are fun to watch too sometimes. Like what I was doing in the Big Ten, it's fun to watch, but whenever you have these really close duels, and you even have close duels outside of that with Davidson and Citadel, maybe all their duels aren't that exciting to watch, but that's good for me to watch that. Unfortunately, kind of a sour taste at the end of the season with the Socon, with Davidson now pulling out of the Socon and NCAA championships. That's unfortunate, but so far the Socon has been fun to watch this year for me. The other team that I put in this B in the good ranking is Big 12. Big 12's Okie State, having their close duels with Iowa State, Northern Iowa, lots of young talent, fresh talent to watch with Ferrari, who's a trash talker in himself and makes things fun for the fans to watch. Master Giovanni, Plot, the return of Dayton Fix, the recent return of Dayton Fix has been fun. And outside of Okie State and the Big 12, you have Northern Colorado has been up and coming this year as a top 25 team. Iowa State has been exciting. But the faults for me here are you had a lot of guys kind of drop out, haven't been wrestling this season, dropping of the Fresno State program. Not that that leaves a sour taste in my mouth, but it's been good to watch. A great conference to watch this year. And there are two left. There's the Big Ten and there's the ACC. So where do I put each of these? Well, the Big Ten is always one of the most exciting conferences to watch. With Iowa and Penn State always going at it. Michigan and Ohio State really throwing in some things, usually. This year, Iowa's been the dominant team, and to me, that's okay. They've been crushing it this year. It's still okay. Penn State, a lot of new, exciting guys, and able to pick up duels that they didn't have before, like against Michigan. That was a cool duel to pick up. And upsets galore always in the Big Ten. They have a lot of the number one, number two guys, like Spencer Lee, Sammy Sasso, Gable Steveson, always thrilled to watch. And the big stories, outside of those teams, the top teams, you have Illinois, who was a team, has had a storied season with a big win over Ohio State. Purdue, Northwestern, and Wisconsin have kind of a winning triangle going on between those teams. The faults here, and this is why it's not at that S tier, why it's just at the great fun to watch. Rutgers, 0-4 right now. Haven't had a win. No Soriano returning. Kind of puts a damper on things. They canceled duels between Iowa and Michigan, and originally, Michigan and Penn State. Between Penn State and Iowa, it's put a damper on things. That's why it hasn't been great. Between all these programs kind of canceling, that's why I fault that as far as a fan, as far as fun to watch. So that leaves the ACC at S, the best. Why would I put ACC above Big Ten, you ask? Well, the dual meets, all of them have been super fun to watch, with Virginia pulling a big upset over Pitt. Virginia Tech, you just want to talk about that duel alone, arguably the best duel of the entire season, coming down to the last seconds, the remaining seconds on the clock between Latona and Camacho. And if you haven't seen it, the announcer during that duel was so funny to watch. He was just, I put him up there with like a Shane Sparks, who I really enjoy listening to in the Big Ten, but the announcer during the ACC duel between Virginia Tech and NC State was a thrill. And NC State was riding one of the longest, actually the longest dual meet streak in college, and Virginia Tech was able to break that, beating UNC, who I didn't think they actually could beat, then beating NC State, who I thought there was not a chance they were going to beat, and had a close match and beat them. And then just individually, 165, that weight class between Jake Keating, Kennedy Monday, Mekhi Lewis, and Jake Wenzel, who just had a recent exciting match. At 197, Bonacorsi, Aiello, Trumbull, Caden Russell. Another exciting weight. And the ACC could realistically, I think another reason why it has been so exciting for me is, for the first time in many years, they can actually get three NCAA champs in a row from the ACC. At 49, it's possible with like an Austin O'Connor. 57 is definitely possible with a Hayden Hidley. And 65 with a couple of those guys I just mentioned as well. And then you could even get somebody else at 97. The ACC, to me, has just been one of the most fun conferences to watch this season. It's been one of the most electrifying. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree with me on these tier rankings for the thrill and enjoyment of actually watching college wrestling? If you like this clip and are looking for more wrestling news and discussion, I recommend that you check out the full Fanco Wrestling Show podcast, which is live on this YouTube channel every single week. You can click here to subscribe to be notified of new and upcoming videos, or you can check out the Fanco Wrestling Show on your favorite podcasting platform to listen on the go. Stop stalling and start listening today.